everyone. Today I'm going to be presenting assessment terms. As a reading literacy specialist and educators, we need to be informed about some of the different assessment tools that can be utilized in our classrooms to help students meet their educational needs. We may have students that need more than a regular lesson can provide, so this is where the assessment tools come in. This video is a resource guide of some of the assessment tools available to us and how they can be used in our classroom and integrated into our lessons. Assessing student performance to guide instruction is a long-standing practice of classroom teachers and reading specialists. Assessment is a process of gathering data in order to better understand the strengths and weaknesses of student learning as by observation, testing, interviews, etc. There are two forms of assessments that school district and classroom teachers use. The first one, a formal assessment that are standardized tests given under controlled conditions so that groups with similar backgrounds can be compared. The second are informal assessments that are not standardized and they record observation using anecdotal records, checklists, rubrics, portfolios, informal reading inventories, running records, and miscue analysis. Teachers will use both formative and summative assessments to assess the students. Formative assessments are used to guide instruction so teachers can give students feedback on what they need to do to improve their literacy skills. Summative assessments are given at the end of a given time and they are used to measure student growth and assign grades. The first assessment that would be reading or literacy assessment refers to the decision-making process resulting in an examination of students' performance on literary tasks that range from formative response to student writing to the design of higher stakes assessment. This assessment can be used to assess reading and writing instruction. This can be used in the classroom as a quick, informal reading and writing activity. The students can be given a journal writing activity related to the story of the week. The teacher will then read the journal entries to see if the students are grasping the concept being taught. Depending on the results, she will either do a reteach or remediation or an intervention for those students that need the additional help on the skills that they are not mastering. Language assessments refers to a variety of ways of collecting information on learners' language ability or achievement. For the language assessment, our district uses TELPAS at the secondary level and TPRI at the elementary level. For the TELPAS assessment, the students are evaluated in listening, speaking, writing, and reading. The student samples are then rated. This is done at the beginning of the second semester. Basically, we want to see if there has been some growth from the previous year. The students are prepared throughout the school year with the lessons they are taught. The skills are embedded into our lessons because they are skills that are practiced every day. So remediation and intervention are provided within the classroom setting. When the teacher notices that some skills are not being mastered, this could be done through whole group with the teacher modeling, or it can be done in smaller group setting, even including tutoring sessions after school. Diagnostic tests are standardized, but they differ from achievement tests in that they determine a student's strengths and weakness. One advantage of diagnostic testing is the fact that because they are standardized, they are more valid and reliable. Once the diagnostic tests are scored and the results analyzed, then the grouping of the students begins, so remediation can be done as quickly and effectively as possible. The ones that will need intervention, those will be done through a pull-out program twice a week from their electives classes, so they will get intervention with their teacher with targeted skills based on their weakness. Remediation or reteaching means teaching again. Content that students previously failed to learn. Ideally, Remediation and reteaching is done early in the learning process before additional skills are layered in more formal mastery or more formal mastery tests or summative exams are administered. This can be done with a quick reteach and an informal or formal assessment. It can also be used to gauge the results of the reteach. This can be done early in the lesson process before moving on to another set of skills. Intervention is often identified as a formal process for helping students who are struggling, where research-based instructional approaches are implemented around very specific deficits and where progress is regularly tracked. To help identify students with specific learning disabilities, some or more popular models include response to intervention or RTI. Intervention is used to prevent learning gaps from widening in later grades and to identify students for special education referral. The activities under RTI need to be purposeful and intentional to build student skills, to get them closer to mastery. The last term we are going to discuss is progress monitoring. Progress monitoring is used to assess students' academic performance, quantify their rates of improvement or progress toward goals, and determine how they are responding to instruction. You can use progress monitoring for individual students or for an entire class. To have a starting point for the progress monitoring, the students are given an assessment where to have a starting point for the progress monitoring, the students are given an assessment where their results are analyzed and tracked on a tracking sheet. The students are informed about the tracking sheet and shown how the tracking sheet will work, so they can be held accountable for their learning by keeping track of their test scores, benchmarks, CVA, common-based assessments, semester exams, and 6 weeks exams. The students will track their academic growth so they have an idea where they stand academically and what needs to be done so they can be academically successful. Throughout all of this process, the reading literacy specialist is a support system for the teachers. She will be able to provide strategies or activities that the teachers can use with the students either for remediation or intervention to help the students become academically successful. She will also be able to work with some of the students along with testing the students to help the teachers come up with a course of action. The students are the ones that will play a major role through all of this. Whenever one of these tools is going to be used, the students will need to be informed as to why this specific resource is going to be used. The students will be informed of the importance and the role that these tools play in their education. This way, the student has control over what they are achieving so they know what they can be, so that they know they can be academically successful with all the remediation and intervention being provided for them.